Good morning, everyone. Welcome in November the 22nd, 2024. Okay, Scotty, I was thinking it was yesterday, but hey, we're still praying for you. We're looking forward to positive results on those tests. So we will get going here. Proverbs 22 is the chapter we're in today. On the 22nd. Good morning, Joy. Good morning, Avid. Good morning, Jesse. Good morning, Scotty, and anyone else and Rebecca, I see you up there. Good morning. Glad y'all are in here. So we'll be in Proverbs 22 that syncs up with the with the day of the month. Proverbs 22 starts out. The very first verse has a note with it. So let's make sure I got everything clear here. Verse 1. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, loving favor rather than silver and gold. And the note there on verse 1 says self-worth is more important than net worth. It is better to have a good name and reputation than to be a millionaire. So preferable would be a millionaire with a good name, maybe. I'm guessing that would be my choice. I would not sacrifice who I am to get the money. So that's what Proverbs is warning against there. Verse 2, the rich and the poor, wait a minute. As the good book says, thank you, Jesse. The rich and the poor have this in common. The Lord is the maker of them all. Yes, he is. A prudent man foresees evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and perish. By humility and the fear of the Lord, all riches and honor and life are riches and honor and life. The thorns and snares are in the way of the perverse. He who guards his soul will be far from them. Verse 6, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now, we've heard that for years, or at least I have. The note there says, and this is a rather lengthy note, says the word for train up comes from the Hebrew word that describes the palate or the roof of the mouth. In order to stimulate a newborn's sucking reflux, Hebrew midwives would put something sweet on their finger and rub it in the roof of the mouth, of the infant's mouth, in order to train up their nursing instincts. Likewise, a wise parent is one who uses incentives to stimulate and to train up his children toward godliness, creating a hunger in him for righteousness and wise living. Just as an infant never loses the ability to suckle, so a child will not forget the instincts toward godliness which were stimulated in him as a child. Yeah, that's good stuff. Hey, welcome in our treasured home. Welcome in, Andy. Glad y'all are here. We are in verse 7, which verse 7 also has a note with it. So we'll read the verse and then we'll go to the note. The verse 7, the rich rules over the poor and the borrower is slave to the lender. And then if we look at the note, it says the lender always holds power over the borrower. For this reason, it is better to avoid taking out large loans as much as possible. A loan can easily become a form of bondage. No doubt. If I didn't have the loans we have, such as on our farm and our home, I probably wouldn't be working where I'm working. You guys just chatting amongst, there you go. All right, verse 8. He who sows iniquity will reap sorrow, and the rod of his anger will fail. He who has a generous eye will be blessed, for he for he gives of his bread to the poor. Cast out the scoffer, and contention will leave. Yes, strife and reproach will cease. He who loves purity of heart and has grace on his lips, the king will be his friend. The eyes of the Lord preserve knowledge, but he overthrows the words of the faithless. The verse 13, the lazy man says, there is a lion outside, I shall be slain in the streets. And note there with verse 13 says, a lazy person will make all kinds of excuses to avoid responsibility, never realizing how foolish his or her words and conduct appear to others. That's like saying the dog ate my homework, or boss, I'm sick. Hitting a little close to home for when I was young, right? Let's go to verse 14. Verse 14. The mouth of an immoral woman is a deep pit. He who is abhorred by the Lord will fall there. Verse 15 has a note. Let's read the verse and then we'll go to the note. Foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. The rod of correction will drive it far from him. The note says foolishness comes with being a child. Thus, parents need to correct children, not only because discipline purges wrong conduct from a child's life, but because it points them in the right direction, the way of wisdom. Correction in this context includes teaching children to uh, distinguish between right and wrong, and may sometimes involve corporal punishment. The rod. Spare the rod, spoil the child. And then it gives a few verses: Proverbs 13:24, Proverbs 23:13, Proverbs 14:29, and 15. Let's see, that's Proverbs 23:13 and 14, and then Proverbs 29:15, if anybody was keeping record there. So we're on verse 16. He who oppresses the poor to increase his riches, and he who gives to the rich will surely come to poverty. And let's see, the next section is headed as titled Sayings of the Wise. So verse 17, incline your ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply your heart to my knowledge. For it is a pleasant thing if you keep them within you. Let them all be fixed upon your lips, so that the trust may be in the Lord. I have instructed you today, even you. Have I not written to you excellent things of counsels and knowledge, that I may make you know the certainty of the words of truth, that you may answer the words of truth to those who send you. Do not rob the poor because he is poor, nor oppress the afflicted at the gate. For the Lord will plead their case or their cause, and plunder the soul of those who plunder them. Make no friendship with the angry man, and with a furious man do not go, lest you learn his ways and set a snare for your soul. Do not be of those who shakes hands in pledge, one of those who is surety for debts. If you have nothing with which to pay, why should he take away your bed from under you? Verse 28. Do not remove the ancient landmark which your fathers have set. And then there's a note on verse 28 says, landmarks were stone pillars and piles of stones that marked property boundaries in fields. Moving them resulted in individual loss or gain of property and wealth. Since God owned and appointed all the land. Removing an ancient landmark would have been a sin against God. And you can find more about that in Deuteronomy's 27:17. Deuteronomy, not Deuteronomy's. I think I said Deuteronomy's. Verse 13 sounds like what I felt when took over me. Not sure I read all. Yeah. Okay, Andy. I think we've all struggled with things like that. We are in verse 29, which is the last verse of the chapter, but don't jump to conclusions. We won't be done there. Verse 29, do you see a man who excels in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before unknown men. All right, so the reason I said we're not done is because there is a section over verse 6 that says tough questions. And here's the question. I'm going to read this question, then we'll read the verse, and then we'll come back and look at the commentary on it. Does this verse generate that good penetrating will produce? Does this verse guarantee that good parenting will produce great children? And let's look at verse 6 again. Train up a child in a way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now, I personally am going to say no, it don't, but let's read the commentary. There's no guarantees because we have free will. And the first word in the commentary is no. Godly parents can have children who go astray. Controversially, the children of terrible parents can overcome their upbringing and turn out great. Some parents, interpreting this verse as a promise, have tried to very carefully train up their children in the way they should go, and only to see those children stray from that godly training. A proverb is not a promise. It is a literal device that highlights a general truth. A literary device that highlights a general truth. Many of the proverbs in this book are not absolute guarantees because the truths they express must be conditioned by prevailing circumstances. Proverbs are generally and usually true, but occasionally exceptions may be noted. When children from Christian homes go astray, their parents often carry a load of guilt and self-recrimination. What should I have done differently? Where could I have done better? But each person is responsible before God for his or her actions, or our adult children included. And I can tell you very personally that yes, parents do carry guilt from children going astray. I agree, no, but as a parent can only do as they can. Life happens. Yes, Andy. All right, let's see. That wraps up chapter 22. Let's flip over to Ephesians chapter 6. And if I can get my Bible app to work, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 through 20. And let's put our armor on, y'all. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God that you may be able to withstand in the evil day. And having done all to stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. And above all, taking the shield of faith with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one, and take the helmet of the salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with perseverance and supplication for all the saints, and for me, that utterance may be given to me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mysteries of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, in it that I may speak, that in it I may speak boldly as I ought to speak. Hey, Karen, welcome in. We are prepared, y'all. We've got our armor on. We got through our notes, and we are ready to face our day. Today is Friday. I'm going to go get in the deer blind. Maybe add a little meat to the ice chest. I haven't processed the last deer yet because we're still we're processing it by letting it clean out. It cleans out by keeping it on ice. It's just better meat when we do that, and I learned that last year. And man, the meat quality is so much different. The taste, everything, so much different. By doing that, we keep it on ice till the water runs off of it clear. That's what we do. So, put one in the ice chest a week ago today, and maybe we'll put another one in another ice chest today. Love you guys. Challenge you guys. Avid, good luck out there. Tomorrow's opening rifle season here in Oklahoma. So get Miss Dina out, and we'll be doing some more hunting again tomorrow. Thank you, Andy. Challenge you guys to go be a blessing for someone else today. God bless y'all. And we will be right back here in the morning on Proverbs 23.